ज्ञानतिमिरन्धस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मिलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। वन्देऽहं श्रीगुरोः श्रीयुतपदकमलं श्रीगुरून् वैष्णवांश्च श्रीरूपं साग्रजातं सहगणरघुनाथान्वितं तं सजीवं साद्वैतं सावधूतं परिजनसहितं श्रीकृष्णचैतन्यदेवं श्रीराधाकृष्णपादान् सहगणललिता श्रीविशाखान्वितांश्च। हे कृष्णा करुणा सिन्धो दीनबन्धो जगत्पते गोपेश गोपिकान्त राधाकान्त नमोऽस्तुते। तप्त काञ्चन गौराङ्गी राधे वृन्दावनेश्वरी वृषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये। नमो महावदान्याय कृष्णप्रेमप्रदायिने कृष्णाय कृष्णचैतन्य नाम्ने गौरत्विषे नमः। पञ्चतत्त्वात्मकं कृष्णं भक्तरूपस्वरूपकं भक्तावतारं भक्ताख्यं नमामि भक्तिशक्तिकम्। श्रीकृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासदि गौरभक्तवृंद। हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे। जन्माद्यस्य यतोऽन्वयादितरतश्चार्थेषु भिज्ञस्वराट् तेने ब्रह्महृदाय आदिकवये मुह्यन्ति यत्सूरयः। तेजो वारिमृदां यथा विनिमयो यत्र त्रिसर्गो मृषा धाम्ना स्वेन सदा निरस्तकुहकं सत्यं परं धीमहि। नारायणं नमस्कृत्य नरं चैव नरोत्तमं देवीं सरस्वतीं व्यासं ततो जयमुदीरयेत्। स्वस्ति अस्तु विश्वस्य खलः प्रसीदताम् ध्यायन्तु भूतानि शिवं मिथो धिया। मनश्च भद्रं भजता दधोक्षजे आवेश्यतां नो मतिरप्यहेतुकी। Reading from Śrīmad Bhāgavatam, Canto 10, chapter number 7, verse number 18. So we read the liberation of Shaktasura, how he came and he wanted to kill Krishna by smashing him while he was sleeping under the cart. But Krishna kicked the cart and killed him. And then he was given bath with the sanctified water. The Brahmanas were called. They chanted mantras Swastyayanam, and they were given some nice donations. So Nanda Maharaj, he believed or he trusted that if these Brahmanas who were truthful, renounced, knowledgeable and free from envy, jealousy, pride, hypocrisy, if they give blessings, then their blessing will not go in vain. So therefore he asked them to bless Krishna. So now Sukadeva Goswami continues to speak. He would have been actually speaking Krishna's life story chronologically, but since after killing of Putana, Sukadeva Goswami asked question about his pastimes which are enchanting, then he got into Shaktasura and all this, and he forgot about his Krishna growing up, what he was doing, which he will speak later on. So Shaktasura killing happened after 3 months, and then Trinavrata came after few more months, I think after 1 year. So in between he did not speak about how Krishna learned to play, slide, walk on his knees. That he will speak. He just got into the role, so to say. So here he speaks about Trinavrata now. Ekdaroham arudham lalayanti sutam sati garimanam shishorvodhum nasehe girikutavat. So one day Yashoda had Krishna in her lap, and she was playing with him. Lalayanti. So you hear this word lala. It's very common here in Braj. Small children are affectionately called lala, and girls are called lali. And then out of affection, grown-up people call even grown-up their sons and children as lala, lali. So this is a word of great affection. Here in Vrindavan they call Krishna as Lala or Lalji. Lalji ne ye kiya, Lalji ne wo kiya. So that is this coming from this root, Sanskrit root Lal. So Lala, Lalipsayam dhatu is there, which means where you play, you fondle with children, that is the root. So she was playing with Krishna, Lalayanti. Like many times the parents or grown-up caretakers, they play with the baby. Like baby is like a small toy, so they throw up the child up into the air, then catch, right? So this is the Lalayanti. So she had Krishna in her lap and she was fondling with him, throwing up, catching. So Lalayanti sutam sati Garimanam Shishor Vodhum Nasehe Girikutavat. And then suddenly Krishna became heavy. So there are 8 siddhis. So one of them is called Garima. So that siddhi said, I can also do some seva. So she made Krishna heavy. Right? So Shishor Vodhum Nasehe Girikutavat. So she was not able to hold Krishna in her lap because he became so heavy. It's like a small mountain. So commentary. Rajati akhil sampattau sampati patau mai api sanchitai किमेभिर वस्तु भी इति स्वमनो अभिमनद ईश्वर. So I don't know from what he is commenting here. Looks like this. Read it from the previous ones.
Looks like he's making a bhumika for this.
Yeah, looks like this. So he says, Rajati akhil sampatti patau मय्यपि संचितहि किमेभिर्वस्तुभिः इति स्वमनो अभिनद ईश्वरः. So this is something like as if Krishna is thinking in his own mind that I am the Ishvara, which means I am the master of all opulence. So therefore, if I have all opulence in me, then what is the use that these people are collecting all these things and hanging on this cart, that kupya bhajanam. Remember earlier he said, so he says, kick them away. No need, when I am there, then all this is not. So it is swamano abhinada ishvara. So he, as if he thought like this in his mind, that when I am here, mayapi, when I am present here, sanchitahi kimebhi vastubhi. So what is the need of all these objects? So therefore he kept them out, not needed. So that is related with the previous one. Ekda, yes.
What is this Abhinad Iswara? Abhinad Iswara? That's what he's saying? Abhinad?
So ekda ekabda vayasi vritte sati. So now ekda is referring that now Krishna was 1 year old. So therefore Sukadeva Goswami is not telling anything what happened from 3 months to 1 year, this 9-month period. He was 3 months old, then he is now 1 year old, now he must be grown up. He was growing fast, but he was still in the lap and drinking milk. He was drinking milk for a long time. Right? Even when he broke in the 9th chapter, it will come. That time he was walking around, he was running actually. That time he was also drinking breast milk. So looks like Krishna was drinking breast milk even when he was quite grown up. So this is something surprising. So how do we know that he is 1 year old? So Vishnu Chakravarti says, Ekahayana asino hriyamano vihayasa. Śrīmad Bhāgavatam, 10th Canto, 26th chapter, 6th verse, iti agretana ukte. So later on this sloka will come in 26th chapter, when Vrajvasis are talking about it. This is that he was 1 year old. Hayana means year. Asino hriyamano vihasa. And he was sitting down and he was kidnapped by this Vrta, this Tranavarta into the sky Vihayasa. So there the word Ekahayana is used, Ekahayana. So from there it is understood that this Leela happened when he was 1 year old. Although here in this chapter there is no mention of his age, and it may look like that it happened when he was still 3 months or 4 months old, but that's not true. So Aroham Utsangam, the word Aroha, Ekda Aroham Arudham, means the lap. So it is called Aroha because children, they climb into it. Right? Arohayanti iti Aroha, where they climb. The child comes and he wants to sit in the lap. So therefore lap is called Aroha. Arudham tam, so he was sitting there. He was, the Aroha and Arudha both come from the same root. Arudham is the past participle. Ruha dhatu hasya dha, dahos dha, dadestu dhaturga. Yes, know this sutra. Ha becomes dha. So lalayanti Bhujabhyam uttolana andolana adibhir ullasayanti. So lalayanti, fondling, she was holding the hands and shaking to this side, shaking to that side, right? Lifting up. So that's what she was doing. Uttolana means throwing up, because when Krishna was there, then all the birds will also come in the sky and they want to see him. So he was looking up and he was asking the mother, oh, he already started making little words. What are these? Some mother said, these are birds. He says, why are they there? Oh, they are flying. I also want to fly. So then mother was throwing her up. So therefore it says, Uttolana, Andolana, Adina, Ullasayanti. So she was making him happy by doing that. Giri Kutavat, Giri Sringasyaiva, Shishor Garimanam, Vodhum Nasehe. And then he became heavy like the top of a mountain, and therefore she was unable to tolerate the weight of Krishna anymore. Agamisyantam trinavartam samatrikam amum harishyantam alakshya matur yashodayaha klesho mabhut iti ashwarya eva shaktya taduttaraya bhara kalpayamasa iti gaya. So Sri Krishna, he was in the lap, and then Krishna's Shakti, Aishwarya Shakti, she thought that now this Trinavarta is going to come and he wants to kidnap Krishna, but if Krishna is in the lap of Mother Yashoda, then he is going to uplift Yashoda and Krishna both, because they are together. So sometimes people kidnap somebody along with the car. Not only they kidnap the person, they also kidnap the car. So Yashoda is carrying Krishna, so he will kidnap both of them. But then Mother Yashoda will become terrified. So knowing this, she increased the weight of Krishna. So Garimanam, Shishor Garimanam, no, that is not so. Klesho Mabhut, Harishyantam Alakshya Matur Yashodayaha, Klesho Mabhutiti Ashwarya Eva Shaktya Tatuttāraya Bhāra Kalpyamas. So this Ashwarya Shakti of Krishna, she thought like this, that Mother Yashoda should not have any trouble, because Trinavrata is going to uplift them, and she is also heavy. Yashoda was on the heavy side. So maybe she will fall down and can break her bones, and Krishna is not so heavy. So she thought that I will increase the weight of Krishna, then she will put him down, and then Trinavrata can take Krishna. So for this reason it is she who increased the weight. Kinchidapi upari tolya amba mam vyomni khelitum aneto asmiham itham amushya kil satya kamata eva anyat trinavivartam anus vivartana suram. So kinchidapi upari tolayamba mam. So as if Krishna was saying that, my mother, please let me go up into the sky, because I want to play up in the air. So as if the potency of Krishna, which is known as Satyakama, because Krishna is called also Satyakam, right? Atmaram, Aptakam, Satyakam, means whatever he desires, that happens or that comes true. So he wished to go up in the sky and see what is there. All these birds are flying there. I also want to go there. So then this Satya Kam potency. So Satya Kamta eva Anayat Anaya Trina Vivartana Asuram. As if she has invited Trinavarth, that you come and give a ride to Krishna. He wants to go up in the sky. So this is the explanation.
When Chakravarti Pad here is referring to the action of this Aishwarya Shakti, is this implying that there was no volition for this on Krishna's part? It was just happening? Not that he's planning it or he's thinking, okay, now I'm going to do this. It's just as if an experience happening to him as well.
This Leela Shakti is arranging.
Okay, and second thing, when he says Satya Kam here, would that be equivalent to another common phrase, Satya Sankalpa?
Yeah, Sankalpa Kama. Sankalpa Prabhava Kama. A statement like this in Gita.
Yeah, Babaji, the word is Tolyan word. Is that some error is there?
Tolaya Amba.
Tolya, okay, it's wrong here. Tolya Amba. Okay.
Tolaya Amba Mam Vyomni Khelut Mana.
So his ba is there, Amba is there, not it doesn't. Okay. Thank you.
Savataraikatmake Miletvatare Vikrama Tolaya Amba. Bhumau Nidhaya Tam Gopi Vishmita Bhara Pidita Mahapurushama Adadhyau Jagatam Asa Karmasu. So Gopi Bhara Pidita Tam Bhumau Nidhaya. So when this happened, then Mother Yashoda, she was very surprised, Vishmita, that suddenly why he has become so heavy. And he put Krishna down from his lap. But because she was surprised that suddenly why so much weight, so she thought that something is wrong. Maybe some other asura has come, or maybe some Balgraha has come, because it has happened already 2 times now. So therefore she started thinking of Mahapurusha, Narayana, who is their Ishta Devata, worshipable deity. So Jagatam Mahapurusham Adadhya. She thought and prayed to Mahapurusha Narayana. And then she was absorbed in her activities, thinking that why it is like this. So Bhumauti Sabhramena Vishmita iti. So she was very surprised that why this he has become so heavy. Mat Shishor ayam akasmiko bhara kutastyo na jane. So Mat Shishor ayam. Can break the sandhi here? Yes. So Mat Shishoho Ayam. So Raishwarat Sarveswar Gopale. Shishoho Ayam. Shisho Rayam. Akashmika Bhara. Suddenly this weight. Why my child? Mat Shisho? Right? So Sha has become Cha, right? Tata Shashava, and then Taschashe, which you were saying yesterday, so Machasha. So this is a very difficult, unless you know the word, it can be very misleading. You can think, what is the Chasha coming here? Machisho. So Kutastyo na jane, I don't know from where this weight has come suddenly. Kasyachid balgrahasya avesha janitova. Is it that some balgraha has entered into his body? Some evil spirit has entered and then he has become so heavy. Otherwise, how I was playing with him, I was throwing him up, shaking him, and now I cannot hold him in my lap. So iti shankaya, so this is how she was thinking. Jagatam Mahapurusham Sri Narayanam Adadhyav. So she thought of Narayana, who is the Mahapurush. Vaikuntha disham murdhvam alokya bhagavanstvayeva dattoyam sutastvayeva palaniya iti dhyanena uvacha ityartha. So she looked up into the sky, because people think Vaikuntha is up. Right? Everybody thinks like that God is beyond the clouds. So Yashoda also, she looked up to Narayana and said that, oh Lord, it is you who have given us this baby, and now it is you who should protect him. So tvaya eva palaniya. So you can all break the sandhis here when we are reading. Vaikuntha disam urdhvam alokya bhagavans tvaya eva. What is the sutra here? Tathayo sarama, because it is Naram. So it becomes Saram, and here Vishnu Sarg Purva, Vishnu Chap Purva. So he has made it, Vishnu Chakra. Bhagavans Tvaya Eva, and Tvaya Eva, Yadvaya. So Dattoyam, what is the sandhi in Dattoyam? Anyone can break this? Dattoyam. Dattoyam. Yes, Dattayam.
Babaji, this is the lower form ayam. Sorry.
Yes.
This is Yamasya Haro Vishwapadana.
Yes. So first you have to make Adaram Gopal Yoru Nityam. Then you have to make Udvaya O. Then you Bhyamasya Haro Vishnu Padante. 3 sutras. Then you get Dattoyam. So tatascha vyagra tatasvastyenadi artham karamsu viprahavanadishu asa babhuva. So now the interesting thing is that she is praying to Narayana, she is wondering why he is heavy, and then she got engaged in work, asa karmasu. So how is it possible that she is thinking all this and then she became absorbed in her own work? So Vishwanath Chakravarti says that not some other work, but work to protect the baby. She got busy calling the Brahmanas, that let them come and remove this balagraha, this evil spirit which has entered into the body of the baby. So he has to be exorcised. He has to be removed, that spirit. Bhoot, Pret, Shakini, Dakini, Yatu, Dhani, whatever it may be. So they have to be removed, Vinayak. So that's what she was busy with.
Just in general, we hear like in Bhakti Sandarbha and other places kinds of bhakti, like Sakam, Nishkam, Karma Mishra, Jnana Mishra, Yoga Mishra, etc. So the type of bhakti that here Yashoda is expressing to Narayan, would that be classified as a type of perhaps Sakam Karma Mishra bhakti? I mean, obviously this kama is kama for Krishna's satisfaction, but in the human sense, as a parallel with ordinary human life, would that be the category that it fits in?
Yeah, if Krishna was not Krishna,
Exactly.
then you can say that, but not in his case.
Oh, I mean towards Narayan, I'm saying.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. If this was not, if this was some other child, then you can say that this is Sakam Bhakti. Because you are doing it just to protect your own child. But since your child happened to be Krishna, so that does not apply, because the definition of bhakti is anukulyena Krishna anusilanam bhaktiruttama. So she is doing it only for the sake of Krishna. So where is the Sakam? Anyabhilashita shunyam. There is no other abhilasha. If Krishna was some other baby, normal parents, then it will be anyabhilasha. But not in his case. Right?
Well, I guess, doesn't the Anyabhilash apply when the object of the activity is devotion to Krishna?
No, anyabhilasha means any other abhilasha other than doing anukulya to him. Because this is the tatastha lakshana. And Swarup Lakshana is Anukulyana Krishna Anusilanam. This is the Swarup Lakshana of Uttama Bhakti. So to have any other desire besides Krishna Anusilanam, Anukulyana Krishna Anusilanam, that is Anyabhilasha.
Right. So in this case, when the bhakti that, if the subject is Yashoda's bhakti for Narayan, that bhakti has Anyabhilash in it because it's actually for Krishna.
Right. So therefore when you apply the definition to Uttama Bhakti to Krishna, then it is not Anyabhilash.
Right. But if we're categorizing her bhakti to Narayan, then it would come as Sakam.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. Because she is not doing it for Narayana Anukulya. Unless you say that Narayana is part of Krishna.
Is about how Krishna started to become heavy by himself, basically. And Yashoda, she was thinking that it was too sad.
We already read it. Yes. It is his Aishwarya Shakti which made him heavy. That's what we read.
Babaji Maharaj, what was the Tatastha Lakshana? You said there is a Swarupa Lakshana and Tatastha Lakshana.
Means becoming free from any other desire. So if you become free from any other desire and do nothing, then you only tatastha. Right? So bhakti's heart is in doing anukulya. So it is also possible that there are some people who are on the fringe, neither this way nor that way. So then they are only tatastha. They are situated on the bank.
Thank you, Maharaj.
दैत्यो नाम्ना तृणावर्तः कंसभृत्या प्रणोदितः चक्रवातस्वरूपेण जहारासीनमर्भकम्. So कंसभृत्यः तृणावर्तः नामना दैत्यः. So there was a servant of Kamsa. Kamsa also had many powerful servants who were ready to give life for him. Right? As Duryodhana was saying, Madarthe Tyakta Jivita. That all these people, they are standing here ready to give their life for me. How he must be feeling so great. Right? That millions of people are ready to give their life just for him. They have nothing to do with this war. You know? Sometimes when you think these people must be very stupid. You know? What is their problem? Why are they fighting? You know, unnecessary whole day, no food, no nothing to eat there. And can you imagine how much dust on the chariots running this way, that way, horses. And then evening to night they eat breakfast and then they come back and eat dinner. And whole day they fight. Why are you fighting? If you ask, why are you fighting? So this is my dharma. It's a very strange dharma. So you see here people, they are ready to, these days people are not ready to do good thing for themselves. If you tell them that do some japa, study, this is good for you, they don't want to do. Here this Trinavrata wants to give his life for Kamsa. What is he going to gain? What will he get? So Daityo Namna Trinavarta Kamsa Bhritya Pranodita. So Kamsa called him. Pranodita means that he was ordered by him, that you go and kill this Devi. Because by now Kamsa understood that that boy who was predicted by this Devi, who flew into the sky and said that one who is going to kill you has already taken birth. So he understood that this is the Nanda's boy. And this Nanda is very clever. He came with a cartload of ghee. Right? And he was showing so much devotion to me. This was the cause. Right? Ati Bhakti Chorar Lakshana. So this was the reason that too much devotion is the sign of a thief. You know? So he was showing this devotion to Kamsa because he wanted to hide his son, and so that Kamsa should not know, should not doubt. But after Putana was killed, then there was no doubt in his mind. Therefore he sent Shaktasura. And it must take some time for him to convince these guys. Because after 3 months, after Putana, 3 months, then came Shaktasura. And then is coming Trinavrata. In between there was another one, Kagasura. It's not mentioned in Bhagavatam, but there is also crow, Kakasura. He also came flying. You see this in the Krishna series of Ramananda Sagar. So he was ordered by Kamsa, because these people were not always with him. He has to search for them. They are wandering somewhere, call them. He cannot immediately tell them go on this mission. Then he will keep them with him, feast, enjoy. Then he will say, now do something for me. So how he came? Chakravata Swarupena. So he took the form of a whirlwind. Like these days, they always give names to these tornadoes, which come especially in America, in the East Coast. Right? They start somewhere in Haiti, come to Florida, go up.
The hurricanes.
Hurricanes. So this is the Chakravat coming here. They are all, Krishna killed Trinavarta, but his family members remained. So they became scared, they went to America. So now they come there every year. So he took the form of a Chakravata, this whirlwind, and Jahara, so he kidnapped, uplifted Krishna, Asinam Arbhakam. He was just sitting peacefully because he was not crying now. Generally he would be crying that why she has dropped me from the lap. I was playing and she has gone away, and no, he said, yeah, now I will not cry. It's all right. So he also cries when there is some purpose in crying. He doesn't waste his crying. Sometimes you see children crying uselessly without any reason. So Krishna does not cry like that. Only when he has some big purpose, then he starts crying. Otherwise he was peaceful. So therefore he says that Asinam Arbhakam, that boy was just sitting, and then he came and he thought, wow, this is very nice. And actually at that time he became light. He became like a paper, So even little wind and he went up in the sky. If he was heavy as before, he would not go up. So he became heavy when he was in the lap of Mother Yashoda. And when Mother Yashoda put him on the ground, then instead of Garima, Laghima came. Another of the Ashtasiddhi. He became absolutely light. That if you blow air at him, he will fly. So then Chakravat came and he went up into the air because he wanted to have a ride in the sky. Like these days, these billionaires, they are going on a space trip. Right? They charge, I don't know how many million they charge for one trip, for half an hour. So Tavadeva Datyo Jahara iti Tadharan Kalam Aishwarya eva Shaktya Bhar Lagvam Kritam iti Jayam. So at that time only the Daitya, he kidnapped him, and when he was kidnapping him, Tadharan Kale, Ho Hari Ghosha, remember that sutra, Ho Hari Ghosha, Tadharan Kale, Ha became Dha, Tadharan Kale. So at that time the Aishwarya Shakti, she made him light, Bhar Laghavam, Kritamiti Gayam. So this should be understood here. So this was a very heavy dust. So these days, this summer I did not see, but generally in the summer time in Vrindavan, there are a lot of dust storms. So this is not only now, but time of Krishna also. So there was a heavy dust storm. Gokulam sarvam avrinvan mushnans chakshu shirenu bhi iriyan su mahaghora shabdena pradisho dishaha. So the whole Gokula was completely covered by dust, so much that people could not open their eyes. If you have seen these dust storms which come here in Vrindavan, you cannot see anything. Everything becomes just dust. It's like when there is a heavy fog in the winter and you cannot see, like that. It becomes so much dust. Cannot open your eyes. So Mushnas Chakshushi Renubhi Iriyan Su Mahaghora Shabdena Pradishodis. And then there was a heavy sound, like the sound of lightning when the clouds they make. So Suma Mahaghora Shabdena. There was a terrible sound in all directions. So this is what the Daitya did. He threw up the dust all around and very heavy sound created. So Disha Vidishascha Ariyan Pratidhvanen. So in the directions and in between the directions, there is a word for Vidisha in English? So it was all resonating in all the directions. So much sound that nobody could understand what really happened suddenly. There was no possibility. Generally when the wind comes you start seeing cloudy and wind started blowing. So muhurtam abhavat goshtham rajsatam savritam sutam yashoda napashyat tasmin yastavati yataha. So this continued for one muhurta. One muhurta is 48 minutes exactly. Sometimes they calculate 1/8 of the time, daytime, or 1/4. No, muhurta is 15th. So this was for one muhurta. Everywhere they will write this word muhurta, it doesn't literally mean that. So abhavat goshtham rajasa tamsa vritam. So this is interesting. So rajas means rajoguna, rajas also means dust. So here it is dust. But tamsa vritam, and tamsa means darkness. There was so much dust that it became dark. Just as rajoguna, if it is not controlled by sattva guna, leads to tamoguna. So here also there is a dust, rajas, leads to darkness. So it says rajasa tamsa vrita. So this rajas here is not the rajoguna but dust. Sutam Yashoda na pashyat. And at that time Mother Yashoda, she did not see the child. Tasmin nyastavati yataha. So where she has put him, at that place she could not find him. Because that is the first thing she thought when this big wind came, storm and dust. So then she ran to get Krishna. But then she could not find him there. And then she did not know whether he has gone somewhere, what has happened. Suddenly there is dust all around. So she got very much disturbed. Yato yatra nyastavati tasmin stale. Where she has put him, there she could not find him. Na pashyat kashyanat manam paranchapi vimohitaha trinavarta nishrishtabhi sharkarabhirupardutaha. So at that time she could not see herself or others because she was bewildered. And why is that? This is because not only Trinavrata brought this heavy dust storm, but there was as if like there was a rain of small stones of Swarkara, this gravel, as if there was a rain of that. Sharkara bhir upadruta. So this was a upadrava, disturbance. Like sometimes you have a hailstorm coming. So like that, it was raining. So you got scared, terrified. Everybody was trying to protect themselves. And Mother Yashoda was terrified that where is Krishna, she could not see him. She became very much troubled, vimohita, disturbed. Iti kharpavan chakrapansu varshe sutapadvimava abala vilakshamata ati karunamanusmaranti yashocha bhuvi patita mritavatsaka yatha gauh. So yatha mritavatsaka gauh tatha bhuvi patita. So just like a cow whose calf dies and she grieves, laments, like that, she was grieving and she fell down on the ground. So, Khara Pavana Chakra Pamsu Varsha. There was like a rain of dust and very strong wind was blowing. Khara Pavana. Sutta Padavim Abala Avilaksha Mata. So Mother Yashoda was helpless, was unable to see her son, and she didn't know what to do. So Ati Karunam Anusmaranti Ashochat Bhuvi Patita. So she was very in a pitiable situation, and she was remembering again and again, where is my baby, where is my Krishna, and grieving like this, she fell down on the ground. It's natural that her life is Krishna and Krishna is not there, and she could not understand what has happened. So she became so much in anxiety that she had anxiety attack and fell down. Kharapavana chakrat pamshu varshe sati avilaksha drishtva. So there was heavy storm, heavy wind, and there was like rain of dust. So much dust was falling down from the sky that she could not see the child, and thus she started crying. Ruditam anunisamya tatra gopyo bhrisham anutapta dhiyo shrupurna mukhyaha rurudur anupulabhya nanda sunum pavane uparata pamsu varshadege. So pavane uparata pamsu varshadege. So after one muhurta of time, when the wind became quiet and this rain of the dust stopped, then all the neighboring women, they came there because they heard the cry of Yashoda. Raditam anunisamya tatra gopyo. The gopis, they heard her wailing sound and they came running there. Bhrishamanutapta dhiyo, and they all were lamenting and crying with tears in their eyes. Ashru purna mukhya. So the tears were flowing down from their eyes onto their face, because it is not only Yashoda's child, he was the child of all these gopis. They all treated him like their own baby. And when they heard Yashoda crying, then they all were like drowning in sorrow that what happened. Again some problem has come. So they rurudu anuplabdya nanda sunam. Not seeing Nanda's son, they all were crying. Uparataha pamsu varshasya vego yasmin. So when the force of the rain of the dust quelled, tatha bhute pavane sati, and the wind stopped, tatra vrajashwarya ruditam nishamya. So at that time they heard the cry of Yashoda, Vrajeshwari. Anupurantaradapi gopya agatya tatra rudu. So now they were inside the city, town, not only just nearby, but from far away in the mid of the Gokula. They all came and all of them were crying because they did not see Krishna. Trinavarta Shantarayo Vatyarupa Dharoharan Krishnam na bhogate gantum na shaknod bhuri bharabhirt. So Trinavarta, then his speed reduced. Shantraya. Vatya Rupa Dharoharan. He had the form of this wind, and he has taken Krishna into the sky, and because of the weight of Krishna, and he was not able to move. So first Krishna was light, and he had a nice ride. So he went quite high up in the sky, and Trinavarta was going around. He thought that he will take him to Mathura and he will present him to Kamsa. That's what he was thinking. Best is I take him there, and Kamsa will be so happy, then he himself can kill him. Of course, he did not know that Kamsa will be terrified to see him, because he believes that he will be killed. So now when Krishna thought that, okay, I had enough of my sky ride, and I know that my mother is crying and all the Brajvasis are crying, so he cannot tolerate that. So then he started becoming heavy again. So he was heavy, then he became light, now he started becoming heavy. And he became so heavy that Trinavarta was not able to bear the weight of Krishna. So Prathamam Krishnam Balaka Antaramiva Haran Nabhayati Urdhvam Gataha. So first, this Trinavarta, he thought of Krishna like any other baby. He didn't know what he was getting into. Right? Sometimes we make some plan, we take up some project, we don't know what we get into. Later on we realize when we get completely entangled. Right? It happens also in relations like that. In the beginning it looks nice, but then later on you realize it is a mess. So this is what happened to Trinavarta. He thought, this is just a small child, what is the problem? I take him up, I drop him from there. He will be dead. So that's what he thought, Balkantaram Ivaharan, like any other child. So he lifted him up. So Nabha Ati Urdhvam Gata. So he went very high in the sky. Very, very high. Tatascha Bhuri Bhara Bhrititi. But then he realized that this boy is not ordinary boy. More high he goes, more heavy he becomes. So first he was going with a very heavy speed, like a rocket. He was shooting up. But as he was going up, his speed was reducing, because Krishna's weight was increasing. Generally you go up, your weight goes down, because the gravitational force is diminishing. But here he is the brother of Sankarshan, who is the source of gravitational force. So his gravitational force was increasing. He was being pulled down, because the devotees are here, and the devotees' love is pulling him. So more away he goes, more force he feels. So this is what he says, that he was Bhuri Bhara Bhrit, that this was a great weight for him. Tatra Urdhva Pradeshe Mahabharam Tam Pratiyan Shantaraya. So therefore when he went up, then Krishna became more and more heavy, and therefore his speed reduced. Should increase now, but it was opposite. More up he was going, more his speed was going down, and more Krishna's weight was increasing. So tatascha vodhum asamartha eva tato gantum na shaknoti. So then he was unable to carry him. And he didn't know what to do now. Because once you have some weight on your head and if the weight is sticking to you, then what do you do? So that was his problem. So we'll stop here. Read it in the next class. Any question on this?
I have a question, Babaji. Sometimes Vaikuntha is translated as the place without anxiety. And now here in Goloka we find that there's one anxiety after the other for the Brajavasis. Krishna has his fun, but the Brajavasis are totally in anxiety when all these demons come. So we know that when the gopis experience separation and they suffer, that there is some internal ecstasy involved in it. So in the case of the gopis in Vatsalya Rasa, is there also some kind of ecstasy which Mother Yashoda feels, or is it pure suffering?
Well, first of all, you should know that this is the difference between Vaikuntha and Gokula. In Vaikuntha, there is no such asuras, because everybody has got weapons there. Here in Vraj, nobody had any weapon. No Sudarshan Chakra, no club, no bow and arrow, no sword, Nandaka, right? Nothing. So asuras are freely coming. But in Vaikuntha, they are not allowed. And if they go there, they see everybody is completely loaded with weapons. So they will be terrified to go there. So in Vaikuntha, that's why it is Vaikuntha. Now sometimes you call Goloka as Mahavaikuntha, that's just to say it is better place. But this is a weapon-free place. No weapons here. All weapon is only stick. There is nothing else. You don't hear anything. So as far as this anxiety and stress, this is also blissful. This is also coming from their love for Krishna. This is not the anxiety as we experience here in the material world. This is also manifestation of their love for Krishna. If they were Shant Bhaktas, they will think, well, he is Narayana. Kim va devarayatina. What can we give? He is Narayana. Why we have to worry? He can kill anyone. So that is how they think in Vaikuntha. But here they have so much love that this love can also give them anxiety. But this is also manifestation of their love. This is actually the sign that they have more love than Vaikuntha Vasis. Anything else?
Babaji Maharaj, I also had a question that in Krishna-līlā we see that Krishna was just playing whenever he's killing any asura, when the Shaktasura also he was just playing, with Putna also he was just playing. Like जैसे खेलते खेलते उन्होंने सबको मार भी दिया.
मारा नहीं, ठिकाना लगा दिया.
So it looks like he's enjoying, like if you're going for a game, if you go for some like you play and then you enjoy it. So actually Krishna is enjoying. So what I'm trying to figure out is that Golokvasis are also not enjoying that this is some play going on, but they are looking in anxiety.
Golokvasi are in anxiety?
Means Gokulvasi, not Golok, Gokulvasi.
No, they are in anxiety because they have love for Krishna. That's what I am explaining. Krishna is enjoying.
But generally in a play you will enjoy, supposing.
Yeah, but they don't know that. They are not thinking like this, that Krishna is playing. They think that Krishna's life is in danger.
Okay.
That's what they are thinking. Because they don't know Krishna's Aishwarya. They don't know that he is God and he is powerful and no harm can come to him. They don't think like that. So that's why they have this anxiety for his safety.
So another thing also I wanted to ask Babaji, like in your earlier you had said that all these people who had gathered in Kurukshetra, so they had just come there to die for Duryodhana, and here also all these demons are dying for Kansa. So now, like you are somebody, like I'll take my case, if I'm in a profession where it is implicit that if required you will also give your life, but then and supposing the person for whom you are giving is not he is not very upright, so then you also come in that category.
Yes. But here you can fight because you are being paid for that, But these people who fought in Kurukshetra, they are not getting salary like that. Bhishma was not getting any salary. Nor Ashwatthama or Kripacharya. If they wanted, they could have refused. No, we don't want to fight. Okay.
Thank you.
Rajasis don't know that Krishna is Swayam Bhagavan. I did not know that Krishna is Swayam Bhagavan till I was blessed by good fortune. Can I infer that only as a sadhaka, that's the only time I ever will know that Krishna is Swayam Bhagavan? If after that I will not remember anymore, and before I didn't know anyway. So it's only that short period or long period of being a sadhaka.
Yes.
Oh. So if I want to remember that he is Swayam Bhagavan, I stay a sadhaka.
Yes. Okay. All right. So